Well, there it is, folks. Donald Trump just requested of Judge Aileen Cannon an extension of trial until after November 2024. I'm Ben Meiselas from the MeidasTouch Network. We told you this was coming. We told you to be aware, and Donald Trump just filed a request to extend the trial date arising out of the prosecution against him for the unlawful retention of national defense information, obstruction of justice, and making false statements. The case being prosecuted by Special Counsel Jack Smith before Judge Aileen Cannon. Trump is requesting now a trial date in November of 2024. Trial is currently scheduled for May 20th of 2024. Nothing that Donald Trump does in court is procedurally appropriate, and none of the statements he ever makes is true. So it shouldn't be surprising that he made this request for an extension of trial, not through a normal way litigants request an extension of trial, which is to file a motion requesting an extension of trial. Instead, what Donald Trump did was in a reply brief to a prior motion that he made simply to extend certain CIPA deadlines, Classified Information Procedure Act deadlines. In the reply brief, he makes the request for an extension of trial because usually the reply brief is the last word that a litigant has. When a motion is filed, Jack Smith files an opposition, then there's a reply, and then the court rules. So Jack Smith's opposition did not address Donald Trump's request for an extension of the trial date. Jack Smith was responding in his opposition to Trump's request to extend CIPA Section 4 deadlines. And we reported here on the MeidasTouch Network that Donald Trump's request to extend these CIPA Section 4 deadlines were entirely inappropriate from the outset as well. Because what Trump was basically claiming was that it was somehow inappropriate and improper for Special Counsel Jack Smith to invoke Section 4 of the Classified Information Protections Act not to produce certain classified records to Donald Trump in the SCIFs, the sensitive compartmented information facilities. But as I explained in that prior video, what Section 4 of CIPA says is cases involving highly sensitive classified information, what the government is able to do is make an ex parte request to the judge to substitute in place of the actual classified document. So instead of putting the nuclear secrets in the SCIF, when you have a defendant, a criminal defendant who stole it, you can ask a judge to conduct a in-camera ex parte review of the document. So the judge looks at it when the other side isn't there, and then the judge can order that a summary be provided of the classified document instead of the actual document itself. That's just built into CIPA. So what Donald Trump argued in trying to delay the CIPA deadlines is that Jack Smith said that he was going to turn over all of these records, and still about 25% of the classified records have not been turned over. They used 25% to make the number sound bigger. But what we're talking about there is because there's about 30 or so counts of wrongful retention, unlawful retention of classified information. So we're talking about maybe 5 to 7 documents, whereas Special Counsel Jack Smith has already produced millions of records. Jack Smith hasn't produced about 5 or 7 records. And one of the other reasons for the delay is that Judge Aileen Cannon had not even entered the CIPA protective order, the Classified Information Procedures Act protective order, until September 13th. So the very first time Jack Smith was even permitted to turn it over, despite the indictment being unsealed in June, Jack Smith wanted to turn the documents over in June. So Jack Smith turned it over on September 13th. And then he withheld a certain batch of documents to go through the CIPA Section 4 procedures, saying, Judge, make sure these could be classified as highly sensitive documents that we are not going to put in a SCIF. that we want you to allow us to summarize under Section 4 of SEPA. We don't want Trump and his lawyers to even see it. And there's a deadline for that on October 10th.
Good health starts with good habits. Quip makes it easy by delivering all the oral care essentials you need to take care of your mouth. The Quip electric toothbrush has timed sonic vibrations with 30-second pulses to guide you to a dentist-recommended 2-minute clean. It's lightweight and sleek. The design is for adults and kids with no wires or bulky chargers to weigh you down. The Quip toothbrush also has a multi-use travel cover that doubles as a mirror mount for less clutter and reusable handles in a range of sleek metal hues as well as bright plastic colors, sure to make a pop to your bathroom counter. And so you know, the electric toothbrush isn't all Quip has to offer. The water flosser hits all the right spots with a gentle or deep clean pressure at the touch of a button, and the Quip mints and gum are incredibly refreshing. I truly have Quip to thank for my entire dental care routine, and I don't know where I'd be without them. So listen, it's time to skip the batteries and snap into healthy habits with the new Quip rechargeable electric toothbrush. All the features of the original Quip plus one magnetic charge powers up to 3 months of brushing. If you go to getquip.com/Meidas right now, you'll get 20% off any electric toothbrush, mint and gum dispenser, and water flosser. That's 20% off any electric toothbrush, mint and gum dispenser, and water flosser at getquip.com/Meidas, spelled GETQUIP.com/Meidas. Quip, the good habits company.
So Donald Trump was objecting to that October 10th deadline in his original motion to extend the deadlines of SEPA from October 10th. He wanted that to be moved to January. One of the things I said is, look, what he's really trying to do here when he made that move a few weeks back is he wants to extend the trial date. Jack Smith kind of knew what was up, but Jack Smith had to just address that. And then in Trump's reply brief that he just filed, he's like, I want to extend all of this trial. I want to extend the trial date from May of 2024 now to after November of 2024. And then he blames Jack Smith. He blames Jack Smith for not turning over these documents earlier when Jack Smith could have turned them over earlier because the protective order wasn't issued by Judge Aileen Cannon until mid-September. He blames Jack Smith for only turning over 75% of the classified information, which, as I said, that means Jack Smith probably hasn't turned over a handful of documents, not because he's withholding them and not fulfilling his discovery obligations, but because Jack Smith is going through SEPA Section 4 proceedings. That's the other argument that Donald Trump makes in this reply. And then Donald Trump argues that Jack Smith is only making these documents available in Miami, in the Miami SCIF, and then some documents in a Washington, D.C. SCIF. And this is inconvenient for them. And there needs to be a SCIF established in the Fort Pierce division where Judge Aileen Cannon sits. And because there isn't a SCIF created there yet, that's causing delay. And rather than blaming Judge Aileen Cannon for it, because Judge Aileen Cannon could hold this trial in Miami. She can hold the proceedings where there is a SCIF. But Donald Trump saying, because there's not a SCIF near the Fort Pierce division, that's a reason why there should be more delay. And he blames Jack Smith for not building a SCIF instead of blaming Judge Aileen Cannon for making it incredibly inconvenient on the parties. And then their final argument is that Trump's lawyer, Christopher Kise, who's involved in all of the various other criminal cases against Donald Trump, is unavailable. So basically, in a reply brief where you're not supposed to bring up a request for an extension of a trial, that's precisely what Trump's lawyers did. Now, Jack Smith's going to probably have to request a surreply or just say that the request is improper because you can't bring a request like that in a reply brief. So watch Jack Smith make that move next. And Jack Smith's going to argue exactly what I said. We turned over the documents right away, number one. Number two, the SCIFs are where the SCIFs are. That's not our fault why the SCIFs, there's not a SCIF in Fort Pierce. Sorry if it's inconvenient for you, criminal defendant. Show up in Miami and review the documents in that SCIF. And when your lawyers need to see other documents in D.C., we'll make it available in that SCIF. We've turned over all the documents. We were ready to turn over these documents before. We're going through SEPA Section 4 procedure. There's nothing improper about what we are doing here at all, and we're ready to go. We're ready to go to trial. May is the appropriate trial date. Let's have this trial date go. And by the way, for all of Trump's arguments and whining, oh, the trial date so soon, the trial date so soon. Really? The Menendez trial of Democratic Senator Menendez, who should be held accountable for his actions as well, that was set in the next few months as well. That's when trials take place. So enough with the whining, but this is Donald Trump's strategy. And let's see if Judge Aileen Cannon's delay that she caused and her making the case in Fort Pierce instead of Miami, if she's going to say, oh, well, now we have to delay this until November. In any event, why I would tell you, don't worry. That case in Washington, D.C. against Donald Trump for trying to overthrow our democracy, that will go to trial in March of 2024. Donald Trump will be in front of a jury on the most serious violations, and that's going to happen soon. I'll keep you posted on what's going on there. I'm Ben Meiselas from the MeidasTouch Network. Hit subscribe. We're on our way to 2 million subscribers. If you want to support the growth of this platform, go to patreon.com/MeidasTouch. Have a great day.
Hey, Midas Mighty. Love this report? Continue the conversation by following us on Instagram @MeidasTouch to keep up with the most important news of the day. What are you waiting for? Follow us now.